I'm sick and tired of this.
What do you mean?
I've been trapped in here for almost 2 weeks. I'm going insane.
Going insane or becoming sane?
Oh God.
What if you're already insane before the quarantine?
Before, we rarely ever talk to each other. We don't interact with each other that much. We only see each other on Ultraranger. Now I have to see you every fucking day. So now I go do Ultraranger and I'm like, oh great, I get to spend even more time with Gar.
Oh, with this shit again.
Now freaking Lammy North's cancelled and everything's just hunky dory. At least I have Animal Crossing to keep me busy.
And Doom.
Well, yeah, I don't have Doom yet, but
what are you talking about? He's right here.
That's Jedi Master Doom. Put him down. Good boy. Anyway, Schwa, roll call. Greetings, everyone! Welcome to the Kaiju Sentai Ultraranger, the show where we talk about Ultraman's past, present, future, Godzilla, and all Kaiju in between. I'm your host, UltraPink Caster Lane.
And I'm your host, UltraYellow Caster Gar.
That's co-host.
Co-host?
It's not season 4 yet. It's season 4, then you get the hosting rights back.
2 more months. Just 2
2 more months. Hi everyone. Welcome to episode 115.
116.
116. We're still here. We're under quarantine.
Yep.
Social distancing, all that shit.
Hope you've been enjoying the crap ton of Ultraranger episodes.
Yeah, Gar's been on like a fucking editing binge.
Yeah, but then I get burnout.
And then we force you to watch the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, I started watching the Lord of the Rings for the very first time.
Thankfully, Kevin, our good friend Kevin, lent us his Blu-rays collection of the extended movies.
Oh, yeah. And if you hear anything in the background, we apologize for that. It's just the door closing.
So people are coming in and out of our house.
Yeah, there's some work being done, but that won't stop us.
No. So, this week we're talking about Gridman episode 36.
Yep.
Tiga episode 39.
Yep.
And Ultraman episode 39, the final episode of the original Ultraman.
Yep, we have finally done it.
We finally finished the original Ultraman series.
We've reached the finale of the original Ultraman show, in which, what a coincidence, it ended on episode 116. That number means a lot to me. But, before we get into Ultraranger, this episode is brought to you in part by, that's it, no one.
Yeah, we're sponsored by ourselves.
Yeah, for now at least.
Mm-hmm. The first story, Kaiju Girl's Black movie now streaming on High Dive. Oh my god!
I don't know what High Dive is.
It's a bunch of girls dressed up as their favorite kaijus.
Well, they are the kaijus.
Oh.
It's basically like...
Oh, so it's freaking equestrian girls.
Yeah.
It's My Little Ponies turned to human characters.
But it came out before Equestrian Girls.
Yeah.
Kaiju Girls. Juggler was a prominent character in the second season. Like, actual Juggler.
Yeah, I know. I remember. They were like 5-minute episodes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So after years of war against the kaiju, the world finally knows peace, but a troop of evil kaiju girls is rising from the shadows.
This movie was recently just fan subbed, but guess not anymore.
Not anymore.
2018 movie Kaiju Girls Black Ultra Kaiju Jinkai Keikaku. It means cake.
No.
No, it means plan.
Yeah.
Was made available to stream on High Dive on March 20th, 2020.
That was 5 days ago.
Yeah, let's check the website and see if it'll actually play.
There it is, right there.
Yeah. You gotta have cookies and privacy to watch it. It has a 1-star rating.
Ooh.
It has a 1-star rating.
Yeah.
6.22 out of 10.
All of boobs.
Oh, look, boobs. Anime boobs.
Anyways.
That's the image I'm using for the news.
So, yeah.
So, we have a bit more information about the Rise of Ultraman, which is the Kyle Higgins and the Matt Groom Ultraman comic coming out. So, good news and bad news. So, good news is this. We got the story, in which it's basically what Higgins did with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where it's the original story set in modern day. But in tune with all that made him an inspiring hero for the past 50 years. There's one downside, though, that I personally was very upset to find out. It's only a 5-issue limited series.
Which, I get it, because...
You don't want to go to town with, like, one ongoing book at the start.
Well, that and they don't know how well this will be received and how popular and how much they'll sell. So they're starting it small, and if it does well, then they can make more.
I mean, I guess.
So that's how I see it. It's a smart move. We'll release 5 issues, see how it does, and if it does well, we'll do more. Because there's over 50 years of Ultraman to fucking do. So.
Or they could just make their own Ultraman. So I guess this does make sense in the long run.
Can we make Nexus Canadian? Can we just make that, establish that in Canada, that Ultraman Nexus is Canadian?
Oh, how you doing there? I'm Ultraman Nexus.
That episode of X will always just be like,
oh, yeah.
They fought in Canada.
He fought Bemular in Canada.
Like, Tachibana's family was living in Canada.
We also found out, I also found out while watching the episode, the final episode of Ultraman, there is no Science Patrol base in Canada.
No, it's just a Japanese branch, Paris branch, a New York branch, a Moscow branch, and a London branch.
Guess Canada gets the shaft.
Eh.
What if there is no Canada?
There's Canada.
Well, you know me as, like, you know, both being an Ultraman fan and a comic book fan, this is like...
yeah, you're like, it's everything you want.
It's everything I want and need.
It's good we're getting it.
Oh, yeah, in which, I looked up the other guy writing it, Matt Groom. The only other thing that I could find on him was, apparently he made a book, he made a limited book back in, late 2018, 2019. I'm going to pull it up quickly on my phone because I have it on my list, wish list on Comixology. It's called Self-Made. Like, it's self/made.
Okay.
Yeah, it was only like 6 issues. Well, I'll check it out eventually. Looks good. Looks promising. But, oh yeah, Kyle Higgins recently came back on Twitter.
Cool.
He took like a huge break from
social media.
Yeah, social media. Which, you know, I decided to tweet at him being like finding out about the Ultraman book and how excited I was, and he was like, "Don't worry, there are big things coming for this book." And I'm like, Zafi. I just want one panel of Zafi.
Yeah, you'll be at the end.
Just one. Also, apparently, this isn't part of news, but basically, in one of the Go-Go Power Ranger books, Zach's reading a bunch of newspaper clippings, and it's like, one of Rita's monsters attacks. I look at the monster. It's fucking Gonkyu.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, I guess, what a twist. Even though Kyle Higgins had nothing to do with the Go-Go book.
Right.
Alrighty. Next news story. So we got 3 more characters being added to the Ultraman B Ultra mobile game.
Bam.
In which the first one being Mary, who is based on Mother of Ultra, 80, who is Ultraman 80, and Lillian from Ultraman 80.
It's Julian?
Julian.
No, it's Julian. It's a Y. Also, it's Marie, not Mary. Mary spelled with a Y. It's Marie.
So it is.
Yeah, Marie and Ken.
And Zapholomew.
Yes,
Zapholomew. Gotta say, like, they all look good. Especially 80. Somehow it just works. I don't know. Lillian looks... I think it's like just the hip area.
She looks like the female version of 80.
Then Mother of Ultra she has a skirt.
Yep.
That is crazy.
That's cool. They're making more. Hopefully we see Gito.
Hopefully we get some sort of like hopefully we get more figures though.
I hope so too.
But now I'm just wondering, like, so does that mean 80's not gonna show up in the manga then?
I don't know.
Like how much more is there of the manga? Who knows?
I feel like they should rename him from 80 to something else.
His name's 80 though.
Oh, but like, stupid. His name's a number.
So in Kids Next Door, there was a freaking number 2's little brother was number T.
Oh.
He declared himself as number T, and they're like, T's not a number though. He's like, shut up.
Do whatever I want. Ah, he's look cool.
Yeah, they look good. And our last news story is actually about the live-action manga adaptation of Ultraman, in which we got our first preview. Looks like they're doing some test photos. I watched the video already. It looked like they're doing some sort of like test shots.
Testing, yeah, for like how like the suits are in motion and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So excited this is happening.
Friggin' the budget of 5 million yen, and I just double checked like how much they made. They're almost like at 8 million yen.
Wow.
I don't know if it's still open or not, but that's like their budget and more.
Yeah. No, they're good. People want this.
I want it. Heck, it was the first thing that I thought of. I'm like, oh wow. You know what I would like to see? I would like to see a live action adaptation. Instead we got the anime, which is
it's alright.
You know what? Come back when we reach our 3-year anniversary. We'll talk about it then.
Yep.
The live action suits were made by LSS, who have previously worked on Matt.
I think I meant to say many.
Oh, many of Super Eye Productions' special effects props. No other information has been released yet.
Alright.
They look good.
Oh yeah, they look really good.
Now is Jack gonna be fully CG? Like, is he gonna be like the Hulkbuster?
If they can do a maximum Mighty X or whatever suit, they can make a Jack suit.
Fair. Alrighty, that's the news.
Yeah.
So, since Ultraman is in the final episode, we decided to move that to the end of the show. So let's talk about some Tiga.
Woo! So, episode 39, Dear Mr. Ultraman. So, there you go, Tiga.
We're finally getting there.
Back on track for now. So, this was a really good episode. So, it was...
Oh, super good.
It was about this guy.
Yeah.
His name is...
McCoy Kirino.
Oh, my subs were Makino Carino. I think that's how his name was like spelled, Makino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's like that's his name right there.
So this guy's kind of special because apparently he has like psychic powers. He can like.
He's an Esper.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So yeah, he has like special powers. He can like talk to people telepathically. He can foresee the future. He can like read into people's minds and stuff like that. But the thing is, he had a very bad childhood because, you know, people made fun of him and they bullied him and beat him up and called him a monster. And
he should have went to Charles Xavier.
X-Men don't exist in Ultraman car.
Well, Marvel Comics, we can make that thing now.
God damn it. Fucking Wolverine with just the Ultraman.
He's Canadian.
There you go.
Have him team up with Nexus.
Yeah, right? It's my headcanon. Nexus is Canadian.
The Canadian Ultraman.
The Canadian Ultraman. So yeah. So this guy, like, this episode starts with like a kaiju attack. So we get the super ancient monster Gyra, who is
wait. Did your sub say Gyra?
Yeah.
Oh, mine said Galra.
Or Galra, yeah. So and apparently he's the same as Gozla.
Yeah, he's like same sort of like type of creature.
Yeah, he's like the same kind of racism, like a bit different.
Which I heard that name Galra, which first thing that popped into my head was Voltron, and I'm like, oh god, is Voltron gonna show up?
That'd be cool.
Is Tiga and Voltron gonna team up?
Yeah. So he's like attacking the city and stuff, and so like Tiga's Daigo's like trying to help Rina, but then like he decides, oh okay, I'm gonna go off and fight this Tiga because I need to be up. But then he notices this guy, and he notices Carino, and he like goes up to him. He's like, "Oh, sir, you should get out of here." And he's like, "Oh, well, you should probably go help that woman that's up on the 7th floor." And he's like, "What?" So he runs in, goes to the 7th floor, finds this woman unconscious, like buried under a bunch of rubble. So he goes to save her. But then like Galra's like right there, about to fucking attack, and so he like transforms into Tiga. Don't know if he just left the woman there or like.
Oh no, she lived.
No, she did. But I'm just saying, like at that top point in time, like at that moment, like what did he do with her?
Chances are he probably like grabbed her, punched Galra, and then like placed her on a building or something.
Okay, I'm hoping. Yeah. So he like defeats him, but then we find out later that.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, he survived because he can bury underground like Gozla can.
He can burrow.
And so he gets back, saves the woman, and it's like, oh, like, yeah, one of your coworkers told me that you were up here, and she's like, I don't have coworker. Like, I was just running in to get something.
This guy, what guy? I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So he goes back and like gets an email in his office, and
I actually wrote the email out.
Dear Ultraman, I've been watching your heroics from afar. They say you're a superhero defending peace on Earth, but I can't bring myself to like you. In fact, if I feel anything, it's hatred. Can we meet sometime to talk in person? I think you owe me at least that much. I'll be waiting in the shopping mall in the K sector tomorrow at noon. Be sure to come alone. I hope this time suits you fine. So, yeah, apparently this guy does not like Daigo for being Ultraman.
He knows that he's Ultraman because he's like...
He read his thoughts.
Like, but how you know? Psychic. Oh.
Yeah. So what's interesting is this guy's sort of jealous of Daigo because, like, he envies him. Yeah, because he has this power and to become Tiga, and he's like seen as a hero and stuff like that. Well, like, but the thing is this guy has to realize no one knows he's Tiga.
Yeah.
So he like. You shouldn't have been using your powers the way you did as a kid because then people know what you are, so that's why they're making fun of you and calling you a monster. So he's kind of being an asshole for no reason. Yeah,
he's just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole.
He wants him to feel like he wants him to feel how he feels. So he's like, you know what? You don't get the right. If I don't get to be considered like a hero or a good person, you don't either. So like, I'm gonna expose you. So, like, he meets him in the mall, whatever, and, like, that's pretty much essentially what he says to him. He's just like, it's, I was treated as a monster and stuff like that. Like, I can't live a normal life.
You're someone that isn't afraid of me. You don't see me as a freak.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand why he just doesn't. Like, it's different, though.
Yeah, no, but this was, like, I kind of wish this guy was, like, a more recurring character.
I was expecting him to turn into a kaiju. Like, not, like a humanoid kaiju, like one of the keloids, or, hell, I was expecting evil Tiga.
That would have been cool.
I was expecting him to be evil Tiga, and it's like, oh, no, evil Tiga's not in this episode.
Wouldn't that be cool if he was, though?
Yeah.
I think they should have done that. Like he's like, oh, I'm the real Tiga. Like,
or it's like people see Tiga as a hero, then I'll be a hero, and he turns himself into like an imitation Tiga.
Mm-hmm. So he decides to play a game with Daigo. He's like, He's like, the creature's going to show up again. But if the whole base of the game is going to be, you have to defeat this kaiju without turning into Tiga.
And if you lose, with my psychic ability, I'll tell everyone your identity.
Yeah, I'll expose you. But if you win, I'll leave you the fuck alone. You'll never see me again. And so he like makes like an instinct that like, oh, the kaiju's going to attack in this area, and like they're all like, well, what's your proof that he's going to? And he's like, oh, it's just a feeling. And like Munakawa is just like, well, we're not going to go off your stupid fucking feelings. So
like, there's the entire city's in trouble. You expect this just to go after one section?
Yeah. So he's like, no, just don't think carelessly like that. But then like Reina kind of agrees with him, so he goes off to like monitor the sector. But then Reina comes in and just goes, it's against the rules to do like solo ops. Like you have to be with someone. Yeah, so she like goes to communicator and just goes, "Oh, Reina,
Reina what? Reina's
assisting Daigo with the watching in the K3 sector," and so
there. Now you're not alone.
Yeah.
Now you won't get in trouble.
So then, like, Daigo goes like, "Oh, I'm gonna go scout the area to see if it's around," and like, the creature pops up, and so like you just kind of see Kirino like just standing like watching on a balcony, just being like, "Oh, game's starting." Like,
well, he's watching from afar.
Yeah.
Like Daigo goes up with the guts rifle and like shoots out one of the Galler's eyes. And like he's about to shoot the other one out, but then he notices Reina is like in the general area.
Well, yeah, but before that, Reina just looks, oh man, only Tiga was here, and like she's looking at Daigo very seriously when she says that. So I think she knows.
I think that's because like there was a scene before that, like before the final fight, and that was when Daigo is talking to Reina just out in public. Like, they're just walking along enjoying their time. Reina's like, Daigo, you're different. Like, you seem different.
Yeah.
If you ever want to talk about anything, just, I'm here for you. And, like, he probably gives one of the best answers. It's like, right now I can't. Hopefully in the future I can. And, like, at that point in the episode, I'm like,
yeah, no, it was great, and like, it was nice when she was like, "Oh, it's nice to be alone with you, like once in a while." And I'm like, "Aw."
Aww. But yeah, the Galra shows back up, and then like they're all like, "Oh wow, can't believe Daigo was right."
Holy shit! And yeah, so Reina's like trying to find Daigo, but like she's about to like get like a building collapsed on her, but then just Daigo's like about to like turn to Tiga, but then he's just like, "Oh, should I?" And then he just goes, "Nah, fuck it." Like, someone's in danger. He doesn't care. So he transforms to Tiga, saves Reina, and you just see Kirino just standing there, and he just goes, game over.
Game over.
But, like, he kind of sees what Daigo's doing as Tiga, and just kind of realizes, like...
Is there no Japanese word for game?
I don't think so. They say gameu.
Yeah.
Like, when they go game start, they go, like, game stato.
Yeah, like, I'm just noticing that now. I'm like, every time I've ever heard, like, in, like, Rider, Ultraman, or, like, Sentai and stuff, they always say Gameu.
Yep.
I'm like, so there is no just...
No.
Authentic, or not authentic, but, like...
No Japanese word for game?
Yeah.
Probably is, but, like, they probably just like using game. Because they have to use a lot of English words in their dialogue. So, so Kirino decides to help Daigo, and he's like, "Oh, the weakness is in the monster's throat, so use that."
Oh yeah, because they learn because like they fight the Galra 3 times, and every missile they throw at him just does nothing.
Yeah, like they try throwing like liquid nitrogen at him, but he just like destroys it.
Yeah, hydrogen, nothing.
Yeah,
it's like iron missiles don't do anything. So it's just like, oh, fine, I'll help. Yo!
Attack its throat.
Tiga. Weak points to throat.
Yeah, and he rips through it.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
And like Tiga was crouched on the ground. Like he he does a barrel roll, and then he does this Apollyon Ray. which I recognize the shot from the 4Kids opening. It's like, okay, so even though they did like the first 25 episodes, they used a lot of footage from like other episodes.
Yeah. So then in the end,
Daigo gets suspended for 2 days, and Iruma punishes Reina by making her use some vacation time.
Well, it's like, oh, you have some vacation days left, so take 2 days off. And they're like,
and Shinjo's like, I get the idea.
Hori's like, what? And Yasu's like, yeah, what?
And Hori's like, what idea? Yeah, what idea?
Well, they fucking.
Oh, they fucking.
So then it ends with Daigo receiving an email from Kirino, and it says, Dear Ultraman.
I mean, Officer Daigo.
It looks as though I lost the game. I learned that it wasn't your super abilities that made you loved by everyone. I believe it was courage and love, powers that all humans share. Now I know that I can live in the city as a normal person, never fearing or using too much of my own abilities, finding pride and inspiration in Ultraman. P.S. One more thing. The girl you're with. She seems like a very touchy girl, so make sure you always wear the pants.
I felt like screenshotting that and being like, Ultraman out of context.
But, like, I saw that line and I was like, what?
Well, make sure she doesn't push him around in the relationship.
Oh.
Like, oh, I want to do this.
Oh, yeah,
because
you always use that. You're like, oh, like he
oh,
wears pants in the relationship.
Yeah, like, the joke, like, oh, we can see who wears the pants in this relationship.
Yeah. So, that was cute. So, pretty much, Kirino realized that, like, Daigo's loved for
his compassion.
For his courage and love and passion, not for what he can do as Ultraman.
It's not what he can do as Ultraman. It's what he... I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. It's not what he can do. It's what he makes people inspired to do. Yeah.
And so eventually Tiga inspired him too. He's like, oh yeah, I can be a normal person, even though I'm a freak.
Like he lost, like Daigo lost the game, but he didn't care. He saved the city. He saved the city. Saved his friend.
Saved the girl.
The hero.
She's a human. You're an Ultraman.
Dang, I love him. The villains never get the girl.
Nope.
Oh. The bad guy always loses. And speaking of bad guys, let's go into Gridman.
Gridman!
Denkou, Choujin. Gridman. Baby dum dum, baby dum dum.
So, episode 36, A Baby Given Birth. So, baby!
There was no baby this episode, 0 out of 10.
Oh yeah, we actually didn't see the baby.
Yeah, we didn't actually see a baby.
Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, the cousin was, like, fake pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell there was, like, something under her. But, yeah.
It was a coat.
So, this episode revolved around the opening of this mall. This, like, super mega shopping center called Maps.
Maps.
It must have been short for something. But the thing about this shopping center is that it has a very state-of-the-art, high-tech security system. And it's unhackable. Hackers can't get into it. It's impossible to get through.
And Takashi's over here like, hold my beer.
Yeah, Takashi's like, oh, I'll show you. It might be impossible for normal hackers, but not for me.
And like,
fuck!
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can break through it. The next day, he's still having trouble getting
No! Yeah, so he's just frustrated, trying so hard to like get into the system, which it just pisses him off at the point where just Kanji Fire's like, well, make a Kaiju, that'll work.
Make Kaiju, that's all you ever tell me to do.
So the Kaiju of the episode is the tyrant monster Devil Pfizer.
Devil Phaser.
Oh, okay. I heard Pfizer.
So, like, it's, again, the whole subtitle thing. They say Devil Phaser, but when you Google translate the name, it splits it up as Devil and Phaser.
Okay, Devil Phaser.
Because he phases through things.
Yeah. Well, because he has like electromagnetic abilities, so he can like bypass, shut down equipment and then bypass it.
And he can also breathe electromagnetic fire.
Yeah,
It's like, which just reminds me of Did you ever watch Dave the Barbarian?
a bit. Yeah.
Do you remember Faffy?
No.
He was their dragon pet, and it's like, you're a fire-breathing dragon.
Oh, is that
All right,
thing?
fine. You're a lightning-breathing dragon.
I like Uncle Oswald. She was my favorite. Netlocks! So, but this episode starts with, like, Naoto's parents, like, finding, like, baby pictures of him, and they're
look at
showing
the
Daichi,
baby.
and, like, Naoto's dad just, like, oh, yeah, like, he was a really shitty baby. He used to, like, poop in my hand, and poop was really stinky, and I'm like, man, I just, like, we couldn't wait for him to grow up. And, like,
This
gee, look at him now. He
scene
just
snoring.
cuts to Naoto just, like, fucking napping on the fucking couch, just fast asleep.
Reading manga.
Yeah, and like, it's like, yeah, but he hasn't changed that much. And I was like, shut up.
And it's like, he hasn't changed that much. Why? His shit still stinks.
Yep, stinky poops.
Hey, that means you're healthy.
Yeah. So then they decide, like, oh, let's all go this, like, he's hanging out with Yuka and Ippei later, and it's like, oh, why don't we all go to this mall together? And it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna go with like a special someone, and they're like, ooh, ew, and it's like, it's fine, it's my cousin.
If you guys want to come along, we'll have lunch together.
Maybe she'll buy us lunch. Ippei's like,
Free lunch.
spoke my language. He eats a shit ton, which they go to a restaurant later, and he does, like, he eats like, it was like spaghetti, like rice dish, soup, and then a chocolate sundae. Ippei's like, I was hungry, fuck off. So they all go, and like, so we meet Yuka's cousin, who's
Akiko, who is
Akiho, yeah.
pregnant.
She's preggers.
Or is she pregnant?
Pregnant? Pregnant?
My el pregnanto?
El pregante.
Pregante.
And yeah, so she's due like next month or something like that.
I just find it hilarious that like in my notes I have it as like meets like, okay, here it is. The gang meet up. I think it's supposed to be gang. No, it's supposed to be meets. Meets up the next day to meet Yuka's cousin, who's currently pregnant with a child. No, I thought she was pregnant with a litter of kittens.
Right? Imagine she said kittens. You just said.
Hey, Fred-san, what is it, Barn-san? After 30 years of working at this production studio, you still can't get sounds right? You're fired.
Yeah, so Devil Phaser looks cool. I like the
Yeah.
look of him.
I just find it hilarious how like you know how like Condigifier takes the art piece and like turns it to life, right? Yeah, the thing that freaking Takashi made up didn't look nothing like it.
Yeah, it was like fatter and like
Yeah, it was
more
like fatter,
colorful.
rounder. And it's like when they had them mush the two photos together, I'm like, okay, someone wasn't paying attention.
Right? So Naoto and Ippei are like, oh, there's a CD I want to buy at the store. The CD store, I'm gonna go there. And so
They're like, well, we're gonna go to the baby store
yeah,
to buy
so,
baby things.
so they take the
Just
elevator.
Yuka just grabs her cousin's stomach, baby.
So they take the elevator, but then Devil Phaser gets in and he shuts down everything in the mall. So the elevator stops working. So they're trapped in there. It's dark. They're just the two of them. The alarm's going off, and then like so like the cousin tries to like activate like the panel or something like
The
that.
emergency button,
Yeah, but she gets shocked.
which
Causes her to go into labor.
I didn't know that's how labor works.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. But, it might have just been like good timing that it happened.
Well, I think it's like the shock put her into labor.
Yeah. So Yuka's just fucking scared shitless. She doesn't know. She's like trying to do everything she can. Like she's giving like her jacket to like as a pillow.
Here's my
and stuff.
sweater. Here's your purse. Here's as a pillow.
Yeah.
Now we're just gonna lay here.
So Ippei and Naoto like realize that something's going on, and they like try to get into the center. Which I'm surprised like the security guards let them in the first place. If it's like supposed to be like a high security system, but you're letting a bunch of kids come in.
Yeah, they're 15-year-olds.
So they're like, oh fuck, and like so his acceptor or whatever goes off, and it's like, oh fuck, we should go back to Junk come on, Gridman. So they go back and like Gridman does like Ikuzo Naruto.
I find
Access Bash.
But like, usually I would joke about like, oh, what could be doing this? It's like, who you think? And I'm like, then again, the mall just opened. Could be an ordinary technical problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the thing starts going off, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So he turns to the Gridman. Gridman's fighting this thing, but again, as the Gridman do, gets his ass kicked.
Oh, fuck.
But like, he's doing the best he can, and then Ippei's like, okay, fuck this, I'm bringing in God Xenon. And so brings in God Xenon, so we get that. He's kind of helping.
Yeah, I think it would be better if you two combine into Thunder Gridman, but you know what? It's cool to just see God Xenon again.
Yeah, and then he just sees Yuka just like in the elevator just going, you can do it, Gridman! And I'm just like, how do you know they're Gridman right now?
Gee. The alarm going off in the elevator, being stuck, getting electrocuted from a button, it's definitely a kaiju.
I guess she just assumed, and then like it looked like Gridman like heard her. He does like his like acknowledgement nod, and I'm like, what the fuck? So they like attack his head, and Devil Phaser's head like gets destroyed, and then like he blows him up with a grid beam.
And the Godbreaker.
Yeah, and the Godbreaker.
Godbreaker.
And so they defeat him. The elevator comes back online, and then the cousin has the baby in an ambulance because they call a doctor over and they birth the baby.
There's the baby.
And so earlier, like Ippei and Naruto had like a bet. It's like Ippei's like, "Oh, I think it's a boy," and Naruto's like, "Well, I think it's gonna be a girl." Well, if I win, it's you give me a pizza. And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure." So it is a boy.
We don't see the baby
and then,
or
like,
the cousin ever again. We just see the ambulance.
Yeah, and then Yuka like does a thing where she like kind of like throws herself onto Naruto, just being like, "Oh, Naruto!" Like Naruto doesn't do anything, doesn't touch her or anything. He's just like, "There, Yuka."
Like just looks over at Ippei. Ippei's probably like, oh.
Ippei's just like thrusting out. Yeah, get some Naruto.
Do you think Ippei would be like Quagmire if he grew up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gridman. So I see Quagmire like with Gridman's face.
It's funny because we put Ultraman Neos over Joe's body.
What the fuck did we do that for?
I don't remember. I have to re-listen to that episode.
Oh god. There had to be a reason why.
I don't know.
You're right there, bud. You're rubbing your eyes a lot. Oh, you're tired.
No, I have freaking stuff in my eyes. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so then Naruto, Ippei's like, well, bitch, you owe me a pizza. And Naruto's like, yeah, no. Like, oh, I thought that was just a joke bet.
No. And like, yeah, they ride their bikes away because, bikes. And yeah, we're 3 episodes away from finishing up Gridman.
Woo!
Hallelujah. But you know what other show ended with only 39 episodes? Ultraman.
So the final episode, episode 39, Farewell, Ultraman.
Which wasn't meant to be the end.
Really?
So, according to the book Eiji Tsuburaya, Masters of Monsters, TBS, the Tokyo Broadcasting System, was fully prepared to renew Ultraman for another batch of episodes, which would have had Ultraman have a total of 52 episodes. However, Tsuburaya Productions were already working on a new show for them called Captain Ultra, and decided instead of wearing themselves thin with mandates and such, they decided episode 39 will be the final episode of Ultraman.
That's why this episode kind of felt rushed. Because it felt like they kind of just jumped from thing to thing to thing. Because I'm watching the final episode, and I'm at the 5-minute mark of just 5 minutes left in the episode, and I just see that they're just fighting the monster. destroying it, wrapping up everything, bam, done. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like the finale should have been like a 2-parter. I feel like they should have just went with 40 and then.
True, but basically it's like, like they only ordered batches of 13. It's like episode 13, another batch 26, another batch 39.
Yeah.
Which is why like the whole A, B, and C suit thing, because it's like as more episodes came out, just more money went into the episodes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the kaiju of this episode, the final kaiju, was the
Infamous.
the famous, one of the most, like, you see it, you know it, the space dinosaur Zeton.
Yeah.
Or as the subbers had it for me when I was watching, Zeton.
Okay, I was going to bring that up. So what you watched was the, air quotes here, official English box set from Mill Creek back in the late 2000s, which that was made by Chayo.
Ah.
In which, yeah, it was referred to as, or in their subtitles, they call it Z-Ton, which is like Z-Ton. But I watched I have the episodes on Movie Spree thanks because of the Blu-ray release I have, in which luckily now they fixed it where it says Zeton.
Yeah. Zeton.
Zeton.
Which I'm glad you did that. I love that sound.
Oh, the cricket tune?
Yeah.
In which, in case you haven't noticed by his name, apparently his name is meant to be the final kaiju because his name is supposed to reflect on, like, finale, like, being, like, the final letter in the alphabet.
Yeah. So, this episode starts off with, like, a bunch of flying saucers coming to invade, so I'm guessing they're all alien Zetons.
I guess so.
Because, like, we never see what these aliens look like except for, like, the one that we see later.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't, so they weren't named Alien Zeton at first in this episode. They were just known as, like, the mysterious aliens. But do you remember, Cameraman from Genga?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what they did with this suit is that it was just a modified Cameraman suit.
Yeah, that's why I always confused the two.
But nowadays apparently they do make separate suits for them.
Okay. Yeah, so they're coming to invade Earth, specifically Japan, because
Ultraman's there.
Ultraman's
And
there.
I'm like, how do they know about Ultraman? Here's my crazy theory. Who was one of the aliens that Ultraman fought, but he didn't defeat?
Bolton.
No, he defeated Bolton.
Oh. I don't remember.
Mephiles.
Oh, yeah.
So think of it. What if, this is my crazy fan theory on this. Mephiles contacted the Zeton people and told them about Ultraman. And it was like, hey, listen, if you're going to go and invade this planet, it's easy. You just got to defeat Ultraman, though. You think you can do that? I think we can.
Oh, they can do that? I don't understand what that means.
I don't know what you mean.
Not speak Zeton.
But you got it. But yeah, that's my crazy theory that alien Mephiles behind the scenes were involved in all this jazz.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, so they're coming, and then Japan Science Patrol receives from Paris HQ that they're coming in like 40 minutes time.
Oh yeah, it's like they'll show up like in Greenwich time, which apparently Greenwich is in like New York.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we're going by New York time here. They'll show up at midnight at 24 o'clock, which Hayato looks at the time. It's 8:43. It's only like 40 minutes away, so I guess if it's 40 minutes, then it'd be 8:44 then. It's not 8:43. Because their clock doesn't have hands on it.
Yeah.
They also must have been fighting for hours because later on in the episode, the clock's at 3. But I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so these alien saucers are coming in, so like they summon the military and they go to fight them, and like the military manages to destroy a couple ships, and they end up all getting fucking wiped out. Because there's too many saucers, especially like one lead ship.
Especially, aliens. We don't have technology yet. This is 1993. Actually, this episode retconned it. What? Yeah, they retconned it so that it's back in the 60s. Oh.
That makes more sense.
Because, Iwamoto's in this episode. Once again, reprised by his original actor, not the other guy from episode 36.
Yeah.
And, he talks about how in the 1930s, there were, like, scout ships of flying saucers that show up, so they're probably back for, like, a full-scale assault. And he's like, but that was, like, 40 years ago. And I'm like, wait a minute. That was 40 years ago, 1930s. They're making 1970s, but the show's already acknowledged that it takes place in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I guess the show just decided, fuck it, we're in the 60s.
I don't know. I guess so.
You know what? Show, you're a science fiction show. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what? Why am I complaining about a 1960 show that doesn't have like a full storyline to it? You're just supposed to watch one episode a week and that's it. Be happy with it.
Yeah. So they end up so the Sense Patrol ends up being deployed. Fuji stays behind to just like watch communication and stuff like that. And
She's their liaison.
So they go off in the VTOLs. They're just wrecking shit, destroying all these ships. But the lead ship ends up escaping. And so then during this, Iwamoto's like, as they're leaving, he's like, "Oh fuck! I should have given them the new weapon that like we developed." And so Fuji's like, "Oh, you can go catch them." So like he goes down to the basement lavatory to like go get it. But then, he gets hit by something and gets kidnapped.
Gets strangled.
Yeah, gets strangled. And so we find out that it's an alien Zeton.
Yeah, which nowadays they are referred to as aliens at times.
Yeah. And he takes like control of Iwamoto, like disguises himself as him. And so he goes back and Fuji's like, "Oh, did you get the weapon?"
Yeah, the alien Zeton starts strangling Fuji.
But she collapses.
Which, oh boy, that could definitely not be shown on television nowadays, especially in America.
Oh, yeah.
There'd be a lot of groups judging it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so then, like, they end up, like, realizing, like, communication's down because he, like, blasts the communications computer so, like, they can't contact it. So, like, they defeat the spaceships, and Ide's trying to contact Fuji, but they can't get in contact, so they go back to the base, find Fuji. She's like, "Oh, Iwamoto attacked me!"
He did. Why is it all foggy?
So they get her out of there, and then they see Iwamoto, like the fake one, and like they start chasing after him, which Arashi, good on him. He's a sprinter, that one. Just fucking chases after him, tackles him to the fucking ground.
At first in the notes I had Ide was chasing Iwamoto, and then it's like, it gets like closer, and it's like, it's Arashi, and I'm like, oh.
That was Arashi.
I thought it was Ide.
No.
Whoops.
So then, the alien Zeton reveals himself, and he's like, "Ha ha ha ha, fuckers. Suckers!" And then, so then...
He gets killed.
Yeah, doesn't he just disappear?
No, they shoot him, and then he...
Oh, yeah.
He, like...
And Hayata's like, "Did you hear that? He said Zeton!"
What's a Zeton?
And then, fucking Zeton shows up.
Yeah, the mothership unleashes... I want to say it's an egg. Like... Yeah, it's a blue balloon.
It's a space egg.
But it's an egg, and then like it explodes with the ship, and out comes Zeton. Which it's like...
He's cool looking.
Oh, man.
He's so cool. He's got like yellow glowy bits and...
Except for the part where he went blackface.
Yeah. Well, I think that was just his light was out.
No. Okay, so there's a quick shot of Zeton in the finale where his eye, like, where all of his yellow bits are painted black.
Oh, okay.
For some bizarre reason, chances are that shot was filmed before. It looks good, though.
Yeah. So Hayate turns into Ultraman.
One last time
to fight him. Gets his ass kicked.
He loses.
And he loses.
For the first time in 39 episodes. He lost.
Yeah.
That's a...
And it was like sad too, because like you see like it like cuts to him just on the ground, and then like it turns all gray, and like it just all's lost, and then they realize like, oh fuck, the Science Patrol's like, oh fuck, we still have like that weapon.
Oh yeah, Iwamoto comes out with the weapon. He's like the Science Center just developed this yesterday. Be careful. We only got one.
Yeah, we only got one. It's a prototype. So Ide goes, uses it on Zeton, blows him the fuck up in one shot.
Well, Arashi uses it because he's the best sharpshooter.
Right. And he blows him up.
Yeah.
And like red rocks come off of him and stuff.
Well, it's supposed to be his guts.
Oh, okay.
Like, he explodes. Guts everywhere.
Oh, wow, clever.
For you being the guy that plays all those hardcore games,
I didn't think that was gore, Gar.
You would never think, oh, intestines?
No, they don't look like red blocks of rocks. They were just red rocks. I don't know.
Oh God, red rocks.
Oh God, red rocks. And yeah, it's then
Ultraman's just
he's dying.
He almost did.
But then Zombie shows up.
Oh boy.
This is Gar's favorite Ultraman.
Yes, this episode is not only the first appearance of Zeton, but also the first appearance of Zoffy, an intergalactic defense force member from Nebula M78.
In the Land of Light.
From the Land of Light. Which, this entire scene involving Zoffy, I consider it one of the best moments in the franchise.
Pretty cool.
Which, it also just speaks a lot about what Ultraman means for this show overall. So, Zoffy, being Ultraman's superior according to the official English dub, because in the English dub he's like, as your superior, I would like to know how you let that monster defeat you so easily. I am sorry, sir. Oh yeah, so Lane, who do you think was the suit actor for Ultraman in that shot when there are two of them?
Godzilla suit actor?
Nope.
I don't know.
No one.
Oh.
It was actually a mannequin.
Amazing.
Inside the Ultraman suit. That's why his arms are just out.
T-posing?
Yeah, he's T-posing.
T-posing. Yeah, so Zoffy's like, bitch, you gotta come home now. There's nothing left for you here. And Ultraman's like, yo, dog, no. I love these Earthlings. I have an Earthling inside me. We need to save him.
Way to, butcher.
Way to modernize it.
Way to modernize it, Lane.
Zoffy with his sideways baseball cap and bling everywhere, just being like, yo, dog, I only got enough for one life.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying, dog?
You know what I'm saying?
And Ultraman's like, listen, I've become really tight with these Earth motherfuckers. Anyways, no. So he says some really touching stuff. Ultraman tells Zoffy, he's like, oh, I'm 20,000 years old. I've got to experience a long life. Earthlings have really short lifespans, so he's still young. He needs the life he deserves.
I just find it weird that I'm looking at the notes. Of course, the finale has the most notes to it, but it's everything's jotted down. This 3-minute, 2-minute scene of Zoffy has an entire page to itself of notes.
Fuck.
Gee, I'm totally not biased.
Yeah, you love Zoffy.
Yeah.
You don't even know why. You just like him.
I think it was just this concept alone. He's
another Ultraman.
It's just another Ultraman. He's
there's more of them. Because that would have been a shocker watching this back in 1967. You would have been like, wait, there's more on one of them?
Nani? In fact, there was so there. You know how you said this episode felt rushed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
Oh.
So, the final fight was scrapped. Zeton was supposed to take out Ultraman by destroying his color timer. He would have collapsed. Zoffy would have shown up, defeated Zeton, and then he would have brought Ultraman back. That's why Ultraman has bubble wrap around his color timer, because it was damaged. And that led to the whole Kaiju Club third episode, where they had the argument of whether or not Zoffy could defeat Ultraman or not. It's that giant debate could Zafy have defeated him?
Or Zeton.
No, could have Zafy defeated Zeton.
Oh, okay.
Hey, he's like, alright, time to bring you home. Like, Ultraman just doesn't want to go.
Yeah, he's like, Hayata's life is precious.
Yeah, he's like...
It's like, I will gladly give my life so he can live again.
And Zafy's kind of a dick. He's like, oh, I think he'll understand. It's like, wow, Zafy, kind of a dick.
Yeah, so then Zafy says, well, luckily I brought 2 beta capsules so I can spare you and him.
I brought 2 lives with me.
And it just does a reverse shot of him, like, shrinking back down, and you
Yeah.
just see Hayata just standing there.
But just that entire conversation again really took me. Like, really took me.
It was cool.
Especially when having to do notes. It's like, just... Ultraman, you know, the big, giant hero that's been fighting off, like, kaijus and such for peace on Earth.
Peace in our time.
Peace in our time. Is willing to give up his own life. Just for one.
That's why he's the big man, the leader, the OG.
Just for one guy.
Yep. So, the thing that I liked the most about this episode was the very end where it's like, they're like, oh, Ultraman's leaving, bye Ultraman.
Bye, Ultraman.
And then just...
Hayata, look, Ultraman's leaving.
And Hayata just looks over and he just goes, Captain, that's the ball thing that I hit. On that lake. What am I doing here? I don't remember anything after that.
So, yeah, it's unfortunately revealed that Hayata has no memory of the events.
Yeah,
of the
because
show.
Ultraman took over his body the whole time, so he was Hayata.
That's totally not upsetting.
Yeah.
And disturbing. An entire year has almost gone by and Hayata doesn't remember it.
Nope. So that's gonna... And it just ends on that. Like, it doesn't end with, like, them celebrating or anything. It just ends with, like, him realizing, like, oh, I don't remember anything that happened since, like, I ran into Ultraman.
Since the crash. And,
Yeah.
like, the show comes to an end with Ultraman saying farewell to Earth and
They fly off with Zafy.
Ultraman and Zafy fly off into space together, returning home to the Land of Light in Nebula M78.
Oh, yeah.
So there was definitely a lot of not symbolism in the episode, but showcasing that this is the finale.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing being the fact that, well, not only is Ultraman gone, it wasn't even Ultraman that defeated Zeton, which is why the fight with Zafy got scrapped.
Yeah, because then they showed that the Science Patrol can...
It's showing that we as humans can adapt.
Yeah.
And we can take on these monsters by ourselves. Which... Yeah, that was
Ultraman!
That was the original Ultraman show.
So overall, honestly, the series was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a lot of good episodes, a lot of what the fuck episodes, couple boring ones. Greenmon's one of them being the most memorable for me.
Greenmon's is the only one that I can actually remember.
But also, what was interesting was I forgot to mention that when Ultraman's like dying. They cut to like a flashback of like one of his fights, and it's just him fighting Jiris.
Yeah,
It was clearly, and I was like, ha, I get it. It's showing you because Ultraman fighting Godzilla because they want people to fucking remember them. Remember when Ultraman fought Godzilla?
remember when he
a
fought
thing.
Gabador?
Yep.
Or Gabora?
Gabura.
But that was it. I'm like, I could have sworn there was more stock footage to those fights. And it's like, no, it's just 2 episodes. It's just 2 random episodes, 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
I know.
It's like, what? Also, there is a huge continuity error in the episode. Take this water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
He's Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
He gets shot.
Yeah.
What does he do? He falls over. That basically what happened. When I tossed the bottle off the table, it went forward, but he somehow ended up on his back.
Yeah. That was just a bad edit.
It's like, it's a bit weird that, like, he fell forward, but ended up on his back.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, for me, the show it was a good start, but this is like 60s sci-fi as you can get, which was pretty enjoyable. Characters themselves, you felt for them. Like it sucks that a lot of the show was episodic, so it wasn't like really a continuous story.
Yeah.
But like each of them had their own things. So like Hayato was just like the overall super nice, like perfect guy who always knew what he was doing, but like he crashed a lot because Ultraman doesn't know how to fly a fucking jet. You had Cap, who was like the super strong leader, and like he always knew what to do, and like even in the most dire situations, he'd always be there for his team. Arashi, bit hot-headed, but he knew what he was doing, and he was good at what he did. Ide was the funny comedic one, but in the end, he was like, as funny as he was like extremely intelligent, and he knew to make really good inventions. And Fuji was Fuji. She helped out a lot. But I mean, the Gama Kajira episode's the one I'll remember the most because she was obsessed with fucking diamonds and pissed off that, well, how dare you take away the one thing that women love the most? It's like
diamonds.
Whoa.
And then there was Hoshina.
Oh, we don't. I don't care about it. I would never cared about it.
It was honest. The first time I watched this back in like 2013, 2014. I think it was 2013. I watched this all the way through. That was the first time I clued in the final episode. I'm like, where's Hoshino?
That's why I kept making the jokes about like him breaking his legs skiing, because it's like I didn't care for him. And he had one episode that he did a thing, and that was it. Overall, Ultraman himself, I'm very glad by the end he actually had like a properly made suit, because like that first design was not good. It looked really bad.
And you got to see it one last time in the flashbacks of this episode.
So the effects were as good as they could be back in the 60s. So like they were fun to watch. The Kaijus, a lot of them were really bad designs. A lot of them were really good ones. Got to see.
You can tell which ones have stuck around.
Yeah.
Since like Bolton, Zeton,
Gomora,
Red King, Pigmon, Antlar, Teleston, like a handful of them have stuck around, where one's like
Jiris,
Koronia, Jamila, Gamakajira. Yeah, we're never gonna see them again.
And so the show got a huge reaction out of me, like different reactions. So, and I think it did what it had to do for me, at least. So in the end, it did satisfy me in like all different ways. And so overall, I enjoyed myself. Ultraman was pretty good. I'm glad I finally got to watch the original series
all the way through.
So, and I'll always have a record of me watching the show for Ultraranger. So
yeah.
What do you think of Ultraman?
This is my like I just mentioned. This is my second time around watching this.
But now you're older, wiser.
Exactly. It's been like almost 7 years since I've seen it all the way through. I remember the first time watching it, I got bored really fast. It was very slow. It was like a chore to watch it back then, but nowadays I would always go back to rewatch this show. Simply because of the fact that like it's cheesy, it's corny, but that's what has the extra charm to it.
Yeah.
And like I would honestly say to like for all people that are into tokusatsu, I always recommend, if you're getting into Ultraman, always go back and watch the very first show. Or if not, like, sure, you can watch like Zero and like the new generation stuff, but it's like there are things that you miss. It's like this was definitely one of the biggest stepping stones.
Yeah, because like Ultraman's like Doctor Who. It just has like a vast universe and vast lore and a lot of characters, and they reference each other over the years. Because like we've noticed in the new generation heroes that like there's so many references to like the old school Ultraman shows. So we're like, oh, I never picked up on that. Like
I mean, heck, in one episode of Tiga, freaking Gessera showed up, and it's like they're like, oh, guess he likes chocolate, but it's like, we already saw that episode of Ultraman. We find out, oh my goodness, yeah, we already know that.
And we already know he likes chocolate, and then there was like Ellie Knackle, whatever, like that.
Well, that was in Return of Ultraman.
Yeah, but I'm just making reference to a person to like how watching the original is kind of important to help you realize stuff later.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Exactly.
Can't believe. Which, yeah, the joke of George Lucas about the whole rhyming thing, but for other things, he's not wrong.
No. Yeah. So definitely, I'd recommend watching the original Ultraman. Just see what you're getting into. See the past.
And now that you've seen the entire show, now you can go into the manga, to the anime of the manga Ultraman, because that's just meant to be a continuation of the original show.
Yeah.
So now you'll have some sort of like context to it.
Now we can watch Ultra 7.
Not
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but we'll eventually get to it where apparently this is the Ultraman show. This is the one that everyone remembers the most. Everyone loves the most.
The most famous of the Ultraman shows.
Yeah. Because do we have a Son of Ultraman? No.
No.
We have a Son of Ultra 7? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's it.
Yep.
Overall, like, if I had to give it a score out of 10, definitely a solid 10. Even with some of the mistakes in the show. Okay, you know what? No. Okay, I shouldn't be biased. I'd give it a 9.
Give it an 8.
Like
7, 8.
Like an 8-9 feels like a perfect score for Ultraman. You can't go any bigger. You can't go any lower.
Mm-hmm.
And with that is Kaiju Sentai Ultraranger episode 116. And you know what? I feel like...
I was about to say that.
What?
I was about to say that we should name the episode Farewell Ultraman.
The episode is going to be named after the final episode of Ultraman. Farewell Ultraman.
Just have a little tear come from.
Just a little tear. Have him have like a... have him have like the bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, I'm done shooting, guys.
There we go.
Alrighty.
So now what are we gonna do? Do we just have Tiga and Gridman to watch?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
So, for the rest of the third season, we're just gonna... Well, first off, we're gonna finish up Gridman. And then for the rest of the show, it'll just be finishing up Tiga and Tiga.
Tiga and Tiga.
Yeah. It's basically the plan.
Woo!
Alright, everyone. Until next time, schwa for now, and you know what? Maybe in the comments, tell us who your favorite, or what your favorite episode of Ultraman was.
Yeah. Schwa for now.
Schwa for now, everyone.